Hey, fake ass patriots, Trump supporters, what makes you think it's a good idea to pull out of the WHO? The WHO. The WHO, who? I was surprised you could spell. The World Health Organization is what I'm talking about. What makes you think it's a good idea to pull out of that right there? Well, I understand that y'all are a bunch of paranoid, schizophrenic conspiracy theorists. But look, the World Health Organization is trying to protect all of us around the world from diseases and stuff like that. That's all they're doing. But see, y'all have been programmed to think that it's some sort of big old global cabal right there that's designed to depopulate the world. They're all conspiring against us, y'all. We got to get rid of that World Health Organization bunch of commies. That's what you've been conditioned to think. See, because what's happened is you have fell victim to a bunch of propaganda, and you would know that. But the problem is you have found new information because a lot of y'all just really got access to the interwebs just a few years back and stuff. See, there's a whole bunch of us that started using the interwebs years and years before y'all ever saw it before. You didn't even know what it was. And we already saw all that propaganda. That whole idea about the World Health Organization being some sort of global thing to depopulate and all that, just conspiracy theory. It's bullcrap's what it is. But y'all are so silly and stupid that you believe everything you see on the interwebs. That's your problem. Now then you just elected a guy that's just buying into the same propaganda you are. That's just how stupid he is. And then y'all got this RFK Jr., a dude that, decides it's okay to go ahead and cut the head off of a rancid whale with a chainsaw and just put that on top of my minivan and drive that down the interstate with my family in my minivan and drip all those rotten guts and juices all over my family and everything. For some reason, that's going to be the guy of our Department of Health there. So anyway, I can understand why you think the way you do. But the World Health Organization is actually here to protect the world from diseases. So I don't understand why you think that's a good idea to get rid of that. But see, now you got that Donald F. and Trump that also told the people that report, that actually alert us to health pandemics, to health problems, to health situations, that you're no longer allowed to report that to the people unless I tell you to. Now, why would he do that? Unless he's just falling back on his old logic right there. When it come to testing for C19, the man said, the reason why we're finding positive results is because we're testing. If we just stop testing, then we won't find positive results. That logic right there, that's an idiot is what that is. See, that reminds me of an old joke that I heard. See, there was this farmer there. And he had a barn that he had built for his horse to go into. But every time he walked that horse up to the doorway to get in that barn, that horse would stop because his ears would touch the top of the doorway there. So, he's out there trying to get his horse in the barn. His neighbor come over and he's watching him do it. And he said, well, what's the problem? And he said, well, my horse won't go into the barn because his ears are too tall. Every time I walk him up to the doorway, his ears touch the top of the doorway and he won't go in. He refuses to. And the neighbor said, well, I guess you're going to have to just figure that problem out. So he left. He come back later. Well, that guy's out there with a hacksaw just cutting notches out on the top of the doorway. And the neighbor said, what in the world are you doing up there? And he said, well, I'm cutting notches out so that horse's ears won't touch the top of the doorway when he goes in, so he won't stop and refuse to go into the barn. And he said, well, it would have been a whole lot easier if you just dug a little trench out there and made it a little deeper down there when he walked underneath the doorway so he could walk in there. And that guy said, well, you know what? You're an idiot. You didn't listen to a word I said. I said his ears were too tall, not his legs. That's the idiot that you voted for that thinks like that. And the people that voted for him think the same way. That's the problem with the United States of America. Inmate Trump.